Deathless Titans placed upon the face of the earth 3 generations of men, the first of them being men of gold. Becoming too close to gods themselves, Cronus ended their time on earth with an eternal sleep. A second generation came to be, the men of silver. Unwilling to serve the Titans and make sacrifices upon the holy altars, as all men shall do, they were condemned to dwell under the earth for all eternity. Finally, a third generation, the men of bronze, a brazen race, sprung from the ash tree. Terrible and strong are they. Join me as I tell you the tales of the men of bronze. This is Dragon's Blood, Odyssey to Dionysidoros, Episode 14. The storm bashed and battered the ship for the rest of the night. The crew took shifts manning the rudder, and Captain Ahinabad was with them every minute of the struggle. Shortly after sunrise, the storm began to break, and calm seas returned. Exhausted, the captain ordered full sails again, then went to his cabin and fell into a deep sleep. Gamden, Sunisret, and Menkari ventured out onto the deck. After spending the night cooped up in a stable, the fresh air was delicious. Orathea was quick on their heels and asked, "Where Ahinabad?" One of the deckhands shouted out, "He went to his cabin to sleep. He could barely stand up any more. I take him food. I take care of him." Orathea left to get food and water to take to the captain's quarters. Shortly after that, Akim made his way up the stairs into the sunlight and fresh sea breeze. Gamden was the first to see him and asked, "How do you feel? You look a lot better. You were white as a ghost last night." "I do feel better this morning," said Akim, as he rubbed his eyes in the bright sunlight. Gamden walked over to him, grabbed him by the shoulder and said, "How did you save him? He was ready to join his family in Elysium." "Athena chooses when to give me and my brothers all her power. When we save the lives of the innocent, she is pleased, and her magic is strong." Akim stopped talking and stretched, then continued, "I'm starving. I haven't eaten since yesterday. What do we have to eat?" "Yeah, when are we gonna eat?" shouted Sunisret. The crewman close by heard and shouted, "Akim is hungry! Akim is hungry!" He then ran away and came back with his arms overflowing with food and drink for the party. He handed the food over and thanked both of them several times, then bowed deeply. "Thank you for the food," said Akim, "but I'm very hungry, and I'm sure that Sunisret can eat twice as much as me." "You bet I can," answered Sunisret as he bit into a giant apple. The man ran off to get more people and more food. Both Akim and Sunisret ate until they were stuffed, then found comfortable spots to lay down in the sun and fell asleep. The rest of the afternoon was uneventful, and they made good speed with a strong wind. Ahinabad was walking across the deck with Orathea close by him. He made his way to where Gamden and Menkari were standing and said, "Amytis owes his life to Akim. If he weren't here, I would be mourning the loss of a crewmate. It's a good omen." "Where is Amytis?" asked Gamden. After Amytis came back from being healed by Akim, he said that he had the strength of 3 men. He took the rudder from us and steered the ship through the storm. When the storm was over, he was so exhausted that he collapsed. He's still sleeping now. "Athena's magic affects everyone in different ways," said Menkari. "She protects those who are in danger, and she can also give strength to those that need it." "That's right," said Akim, as he walked up into the conversation. "I've never tried to heal a person with those kind of injuries before. My teacher, Praxilus, once healed a man on the battlefield that should have died. Not only was he healed, but Athena's magic gave him superhuman strength. He got up, ran back into the melee, and won the day." Gamden said in amazement. "Is Praxilus a warrior priest like you?" "No. He is a healer only. He will not harm a person in any way." "Kefu told me," continued Gamden, "that humans are able to use magic because of creatures like dragons, wyverns, and minotaurs. But how can a priest use magic?" "Priests and a select few clergy can use magic because we are chosen by our gods to do his or her bidding. Through Athena, I can heal and defend. Minkari worships Hermes, so he and his brothers are the scribes of the gods. He uses divination to unlock codes, spells, and languages. He can see future events and hidden things or people. But mages like Kefu, and you too, Gamden," interjected Minkari, "channel the magical energy that creatures like dragons, and those all the way down to the lowly Cerastus, emanate. When all the dragons and their kind are gone, magic will disappear with them." "Why then," Gamden asked, with a puzzled look on his face, "do mages have to use magical words and phrases? I mean, can't they just think it and it happens?" "As I said," answered Minkari, "humans channel magic. We are not inherently magic. No, not at all. Not at all. Magical words and phrases give substance to the magic, allows it to take a physical form in our world." Gamden shook his head in confusion and said, "I just don't understand. How can I use something if I don't know what it is or where it comes from?" With his eyes closed in a calm voice, Akim said, "Do not question why the gods have chosen you for magic. They have reasons that we can never understand. It's a gift to you. Use it to do good in this world, and you will be rewarded with eternal life in Elysium. Praise be to Athena." He touched his left middle finger and forefinger to his lips, then his forehead. High atop the main mast, a crewman shouted from the crow's nest, "Captain! Captain! A ship on the horizon!" Ahinabad shouted back, "What flag is she flying?" The man in the crow's nest looked again through his spyglass and answered, "Blue and black, with a white crescent moon." "Damn!" said Ahinabad, with a look of worry on his face. "I have never traded with these slavers before, and they are not looking to do so now. This is very dangerous. Slaver ships are small and fast. They'll catch us long before we get to Dionysidoros, and we're already at full sail." "When will the slaver ship overtake us?" asked Minkari. Ahinabad thought about it for a moment. "I think they'll catch us in 8 hours, maybe 9. That would put us early in the morning, before sunrise." "Yes, just before sunrise," answered Ahinabad. "Why don't we do this?" continued Minkari. "Let them get almost within range of using grappling hooks, and then, when they think they've got us, Gamden can cast a powerful sleep spell." Gamden looked at Minkari dumbfounded and asked, "And how will I do that? With a lullaby?" "No," said Minkari with a laugh. "With the spell I memorized when I visited Kefu many years ago. It will put everyone on that ship to sleep where they stand." "I'll try, but I've never used that kind of magic before." "No need to worry," Minkari reassured Gamden. "Works every time." Day turned to night, and everyone was on edge. Minkari prepared Gamden as best as he could for the trap they were going to spring. Ahinabad tried his best to lose the other ship in the dark, changing course many times. During the fourth course change, when Minkari was ready to lay down for a sleep, he suddenly sat up and yelled out in pain. "What's wrong?" asked Gamden. "Are you hurt?" "Someone on that slaver ship is using a divination spell to find where we are," said Minkari. as he pressed his fingers against his temples. I need to break their spell. He pressed his palms together, fingers up, and touched them to his forehead, chanting in a long, dead language. He concentrated on breaking the spell. After what seemed like an eternity, Minkari relaxed with a sigh of relief. What happened? Asked Gamden. Did you break the spell? Did they find us? I was able to break the spell, replied Minkari, and I left them with a nasty surprise. Their witch will be unconscious for a couple of days. He laid back into the bale of hay and continued with a smile. I hate witches. Devious and powerful. The lot of them. With the skill of Ahinabad at the rudder and the breaking of the witch's spell, they managed to throw their slaver ship off their trail. Shortly after sunrise, the slavers located them, and the chase was on again. The slaver ship made good speed through the night, and the gap between the ships quickly disappeared. The hatch to the stable flew open, and a crewman shouted, "Prepare to be boarded! Ship in sight!" The party got to their feet and went above deck into the growing daylight. Now, Gamden, said Minkari, we need to wait until the slaver ship is almost ready to throw grappling hooks. Then, you drink the potion and recite the phrase of Phobator. Then face the slaver ship and shout out the trigger word. Phrase of Phobator. Trigger word, repeated Gamden, while he nodded. Well, recite the words then, until you have it perfect, goaded Minkari. Gamden repeated the words perfectly 3 times for his teacher. I am impressed, laughed Sunnisret. Not bad for a second-rate thief. Sunnisret, don't say that, scolded Akim. At best, third-rate, truth be told. Everyone laughed, breaking the tension of the moment. Within that short time span, the slaver ship closed the gap, and stray arrows started landing on the deck and in the sails. Minkari gathered up Ahinabad, told him to get most of his men below deck, except for those that were needed to keep the ship sailing. If any of us hears the trigger word, we will all fall into a sleep filled with nightmares. The deck was cleared, quickly. Akim cast a spell to protect himself, Minkari, and Sunnisret from Gamden's magic. The rudder was tied off and everyone else hid from sight, waiting for the moment to spring their surprise. Shouts from the slaver ship could be heard, and one of their sails was furled. Slowly it came alongside, slavers ready to board. Now! Shouted Minkari. Gamden swallowed the potion in one gulp, trying his best not to vomit from the poisonous concoction. He stood up with a feeling of absolute clarity of thought, held his hands out front of him, and with the voice of a titan, he spoke the phrase of Phobator. His words compelled the slavers to look directly at him. Then the trigger word, Oneri. The word boomed out of Gamden's chest, summoning the power of the god of nightmares. The people on the slaver ship fell to the deck in a deep sleep, filled with the most gruesome nightmares. With no one at the rudder, the slaver ship veered toward them, almost crashing into their ship. Men from below decks ran up top to get control of the rudder. When they saw all their crewmates laying as if dead all around them, the slavers made every effort to get away. Gamden shouted in triumph and turned to his friends. I did it! I never did anything like that before, but I did it! His knees almost buckled, and he reached for the ship's rail. I feel like someone hit me over the head. Is it always like this? Potions, I mean? This is the first time you've used a potion, said Akim. By using them more, you'll become accustomed to their effects. just like Sunisret and how he can drink so much wine." "Aye," replied Sunisret with a frown. "No need to rub it in." "I meant it as a compliment," said Akim. "Every mage or priest has their own limit, of course. Some potions can be quite poisonous and could kill you if you use them too often." "I don't like this at all." Gamden's head rolled back, and he fought off the urge to vomit. "You'll be okay in a couple of hours," said Menkari, with reassuring smile. The rest of the day brought no more trouble, and they made good speed with a robust wind in the sails. They were leaving the lawless part of the seas and entering the protected waters of Dionysidoros. Heavy warships patrolled, keeping the slavers at bay. On the last day of the voyage, far off in the distance, along the eastern border, Mount Fatuza was belching fire and smoke. That meant they were close, and every minute brought them closer to their destination. The tensions of the crew melted away. The day was warm and sunny by the time they reached the harbor walls. Several warships were anchored nearby, reminding all that King Saraxis was firmly in control and ready to take back the eastern wildlands. When they were finally able to dock, everyone on board was ready to get their feet on dry land. Look for episode 15 of Dragon's Blood, Odyssey to Dionysidoros on YouTube.